What always happens before the silver price doubles? Now, let me give you the answer. I won't make you wait for it. It's when silver breaks out to a new all-time high. Now, let me show you some charts. Welcome to the Daily Gold YouTube channel. This video is being recorded on the evening of Tuesday, October 21st. So, starting off here, I have circled the 3 points in silver's history. So this has happened 3 times before, approximately from 1967 to 1978 is when it happened those 3 times. And presuming, this is a monthly chart, by the way, so silver has not closed above 50 yet on a monthly basis. So presuming that happens, this will be the 4th instance. But let me go back to the 3 times from that mid-60s to 1980 period. I've circled them here. Here you can see this is 1967, 68. This is 73. This is 1978. And look, each time, that's what you get. Now, this is a modern new all-time high because in 67, 68, silver took out the 1920 peak. Okay, it didn't quite take out the Civil War peak, but I'm calling it a modern new all-time high. So anyway, this is the bird's eye view. We know this beautiful 45-year-long base, silver is going to explode. But here is more evidence for the silver price breaking out to a new all-time high and then doubling. And I've put this on the current scale. So this is on the scale. This is weekly data. So this is on the current scale. I started this chart here a couple weeks ago. So silver, the spot silver price has closed above $50 in weekly terms a couple times. Okay, it's at 48 now. So we can see here, there are some cases where silver, it closes above, it closes at a new all-time high on a weekly basis, and then it pulls back and goes lower for a little while. Maybe we could do the same thing. I think there's good odds of that here in the next couple weeks, next month or two. But that aside, let's just look at these 3 instances. Okay, 78 to 80, this is off the chart. This is a blow-off move on the current scale. This went above 400. Now the other 2, so we have 1967 to 1968, and we have 73 to 74. So here is the 67 to 68 move. Again, on the current scale, this is weekly data. This reaches a peak of $97. Now, in daily terms, this is even higher. It's probably $110 an ounce or something like that. Now, here's 1973, and we can see here that this move towards the end shot up, and that reached $105 an ounce on the current scale. And so let's think about the timing of these 3 moves. If we look around here, we can see this is the end of May next year. You can call it June. That is about 8 months from now. You already have one scenario reaching over $100. This, again, the 67 to 68 move, this got pretty close. Okay, and if we look, let's talk about timing. Let's look at all 3 and how quickly they were able to double in price. The 73 move right here, that doubled in May on the current scale. So that's about 7 months from now. If we look at the others, here's the 67 move. I mean, that got very close to doubling 7, 8 months. It took a little bit longer ultimately here. So that was, call it about 11 months from now. Now, the 78 to 80 move, that required 10 months. So that's where we are, about 7 to 11 months in every case. In every case, they all doubled. But here's the timing of when it could happen. Look here. So basically next spring, next summer, it's ripe for silver to go to 100. Now let's zoom in. This is a zoomed in look at the 3 scenarios. So I circled the breakouts here. You have it here. You have here, and also you have here. This might be a data error, so I apologize for that. This spike here might be a data error. But what I'm focusing on here with respect to the last 2, and not this one, because we know the market was really thin. There wasn't day trading and everything we have today. There wasn't Asia, etc. So I'm focusing on these 2. What's interesting to me, and I like this here in 1973, because as I pointed out, 1972 to 1973, that's the best comparison for where we are now. Nothing is perfect, but this is by far the best comparison. Silver When it got up around a new all-time high, it had a bullish correction here for about 5 months, and it corrected 16%, and it bottomed at the 150-day moving average. Not the 200-day. This is the 150-day moving average. So again, corrected. This is a mini cup and handle, or an ascending triangle. Corrected 5 months, then it exploded. What happened here in this scenario, 78, yes, this is towards the end of 1978. Silver, before it really broke out and pulled away, it corrected 10%. Also came back and nearly tested the 150-day moving average. As it was getting ready to get to that point, we could see it bottomed around the 150-day moving average. So we'll keep that in mind in future videos. That could be a support point for silver in this correction, the 150-day moving average. But we could clearly see what happened every time silver broke out. Broke out here to a new all-time high, exploded. Broke out here, exploded. Same thing happened here, exploded. Now, last thing I want to mention, aside from silver's history, and before I looked into silver's history of breaking out to new all-time highs, and I talked about this in my book, I thought about the breakouts in copper and oil in 2004 and 2005. They were trading in really long bases. Oil, since 1980, had not broken above $40. It traded between $10, $11 a barrel to $40 a barrel. What happened when it broke out here in 04, I think it was 2004, exploded. It nearly doubled in the next couple of years. Copper, look at this base. You got to go back to the 70s. From 74 to 2004. This was a 30-year base, people. This exploded. This copper broke out here past $1.50, gained out like 170%. And I think this was like 13 or 14 months. So going back a second, what does this tell you about silver and this beautiful base here that's going to happen? Okay. So that's it for the video. It's all setting up perfectly for silver. We are going to have a correction here, and that's really the question. How long will the correction last? How deep will it go? I'll talk about that in future videos, but I would love to hear comments from you guys. Answer my question. How long is the correction going to last? Where's silver next low going to be before it breaks 50 for good? Because people, when that happens, look at the evidence I've shown you here. It's going to double in price for the 4th time in less than a year. That's all for the video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your support. And I'll talk to you guys again on Friday for the weekly market recap.